Hi, everyone. I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes so we can get more people logged on before we start. Hopefully you guys can all hear me, see my screen. If you can, just please give me a hands up so that way I know that you guys can hear me and see everything. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Just give it about 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started on our inventory training. I'm just going to introduce myself really quickly. My name is Michelle Sakowitz. I have been with Hand and Stone now for almost 9 years. Kind of started my journey as a spa associate to lead spa associate, then became an assistant manager to a per diem trainer for corporate to now our senior trainer here with corporate. I've been with them for about 7 years full time. So some of you guys may recognize me, some of you guys may not. I do recognize a couple names that are showing up, but I normally go to all of our new locations. I'm one of the trainers, so if you're opening a new spa or if you already opened a new spa, you may have seen me already. I also do have one of our corporate trainers, Amy, on the line with me as well. So what I'm going to do is kind of go over different sections, and after each section, we're going to stop for questions. So as you guys have questions, just go ahead and write them in the question box, and we'll go ahead and review them once the one section is over. So as long as everybody can see my screen, we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is learn how to create a purchase order in Zenoti. So you'll see here that I am on my admin tab. I have my right center. I am in my stage site here. So at your location, you'll see your location at the top. If you have multiple locations, make sure you're logged into the correct one that you are creating your order for. So I'm just going to go ahead and select my inventory tab, which brings me to my page. And then I'm going to see an option here for procurement. Once I select that, it's going to show me orders. This is where you're going to come to view all of your orders or to place an order. Once I select that, you have the option to run a report name, or you also have the drop-down box at the top right corner. Once I select that, I have an option to add order. I can add order, make it an automatic purchase order. I'm going to skip over these, and we can also import an order as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through the basic of adding a purchase order. So once I select that, the first thing that we want to do is select the vendor that we want to purchase from. So for this example, I'm going to choose Clarity. And then once you select that, you'll see that their vendor information shows up automatically, and then your location will show up on the right side. From there, you have the product name. So we're going to go ahead and enter in what we want to order. So if you're in your spa, you can go ahead and just scan your product. Since I'm not in the spa, I'm just going to go ahead and type in the product name. And when you're doing it this way, you do want to be careful because you'll see that we have testers, we have professional. The one that says others is going to be your retail product. So whenever you're typing it in, just make sure you're choosing the correct product. So this example, I'm just going to choose a couple different products. You'll notice that it does recognize that it's retail. So I'm going to go ahead and order how many I want to order and select add to bring me to my next line. We'll do a professional, and you'll notice this one also notice it was consumable. So that notices that it's a professional product as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a couple random products. Okay. Once you have your products added, you'll see how many you want to add to your order. Your pricing will show up with what you're paying for each product. And then you'll have a total for each product as well. Your sales tax will be automatically delivered with your system, so you don't need to worry about inputting that in. And then you have the option to put in notes. If you wanted to, you could put in what product is retail, what's professional, any kind of note you want to put in for that specific product, you can do so. It's optional. And then if I scroll down to the bottom, I'm going to see the total quantity of products I'm ordering, my subtotal here, and then you're also going to see the total tax that I'm paying for those products. We do leave the discount and shipping and handling blank until we receive that order, so you will leave those boxes completely blank. You have your total value and then your grand total. So the total value is the total for your product. Your grand total includes the total of tax and your product. So that's everything combined. And then you'll have the option to do a note for this whole order as well that you can come back and take a look into if you ever needed to. Here I have the option to save as a draft. So if I'm not finished with this purchase order, I can save it as a draft, come back into it and add more products later on. I can cancel out of it altogether if I don't want to submit the order. And then I can save and raise it. So saving and raise means that you're going to place that order. So we're saving it in the system, and raise means that we're going to place it to that vendor. So once you select that, you'll see here a reference number automatically populates. You have your created date, which will be whatever day you created it, and then your status, which is raised. So it doesn't mean you sent it to the vendor yet. It just means that we saved it in our system. And then we do have the option up here in the top right corner that you can email straight to your vendor. So you'll notice that the email for that vendor populates. So once you hit email to vendor, your email should populate with that email here, and it will send that order off to that particular vendor. You do have the option to delete the order in total if you did not want to send it off. Maybe we messed up on it. We can delete it and redo another one. I'm going to skip over the copy to purchase and copy to transfer. We don't use those options. And then you can print this order as well, which we do recommend doing. So that way you have a copy of what you ordered and you can compare it to what you received. So again, to send it to your vendor, you're going to want to hit email to vendor, which should auto-populate this email here and send that order off. I am going to do this one more time before we move on to the questions of placing an order. So I'm just going to go back to inventory. And again, I'm going to go to procurement, orders. I want to add an order. And then again, we're going to select our vendor. This time I'll do Dermalogica. And again, you'll see that their vendor information populates and then your information for your location will populate to the right. So again, I'm just going to add in a couple of random products. The professional. Okay. So again, I'm putting in how much I want to order of each product. I see the unit price of what I'm paying for each product. I have the total cost that's added all together. Again, your sales tax is delivered with your system, so you don't need to worry about putting that in. And then you have the option to add a note for each product if you would like to. Again, I have my total product that I'm ordering, my subtotal of products, which would equal my total value. And then I have my tax to the right, which would bring that to my grand total. So again, we have our total of products plus our sales tax equals this total here. And then you do have the option to do a note. Again, you can save it as a draft if you're not done with it. We can come back into it and continue to place that order. We can cancel out of it altogether, and then we can save and raise once we're finally complete. So again, once you save and raise it, it's going to auto-populate your reference number, your order date, and then your status is raised, which means it's just saved in the system. And then you can email it to vendor again by selecting the email to vendor option, which will auto-populate whatever vendor email is located underneath that vendor name. You can delete the order in total, and then you can print this order as well. Again, we recommend that you do print it so that way you can compare what you place to what you receive when you get your order. So let's go ahead and answer any questions that we have on placing an order, and then we can go ahead and move on to how to receive it. So let's see. I have my first question here. Why can't we enable search by SKU? You can. So you can do it by SKU number, or you can just scan the product. Again, I'm not in this box, so I'm unable to scan it with my scanner, so I was just typing the product in. How do I delete a purchase order that was done by mistake? Again, you can just go into your order and you can delete the order here. I am going to show you how to re-pull up that order once you save it. That's something that we're going to go over when you receive it. So all you have to do is just hit that delete order button and it will be done and you can replace your new order. What happens if the product is not listed in the system? Do we have to create a ticket? So if the product is not in the system, yes, you can create a ticket, or you can email Linda. I will put her email in the comments, so that way you guys will have that, and she is the one who's kind of inputting all of the products into the system. So you can either create a ticket or let your ops manager know, and we can send that to Linda to put in your system that day. Let's see. Sorry if you guys can hear my dog bark. She just heard me talking, so she's starting to bark. Okay, so a couple more questions that we have. Why do you have to clear the tax on retail? Why doesn't the system know to take it off? So that's actually a good question. That's something that we'll probably have to ask the Zenoti about. I'm not too sure the answer to that question, but we will get that for you. Somebody else said, don't save and raise until it's ready. Cindy said, because you can't change anything and the financial clock starts. So yeah, exactly. So you can delete it. I mean, once you save and raise it, you can still delete the order. It's not going to mess anything up if you need to change anything. You just don't want to email it to your vendor. You can still save and raise it. You just don't want to send it off to the vendor yet if it's not done or if you need to make any changes. Is there any way to see how many units we have on hand when ordering the PO? Yeah, so we are going to go over how to do the on-hand count. So after we receive the order, I'm going to show you guys how to do the on-hand count. So you'll see your count sheets, then we'll do your on-hand count, and then we can reconcile it in the system. So we are going to go through that process. Somebody else said, I recently placed a dermalogical order through their website. Would I go through these steps and not email the order to the vendor? So if you place it through their website, that's fine. You still want to come in here and create the purchase order. You just wouldn't email it to the vendor, but you'll still create it. You'll still hit save and raise because it's the only way to save that order in your system. And just don't email it off to the vendor if you're doing it through the phone or through a website. Somebody else said, what? I don't do back orders, so I need to remove the item from the order. Let's come back to that question. We will still have to manually add discounts. Yes, we will still have to add discounts manually on the invoice. Next question, where can we change the email address for the vendor? So once you hit email to vendor, your email will populate. It will come up for you. So you should have like Outlook in your system, and that's really what will pop up with the with the vendor's email. I'm sorry, I can't speak today. You'll be able to change the email address there. You can copy somebody on there as well, but it's just going to populate an email. You'll still have to press send through your email to send it off. Are we able to change the vendor email so our derm orders? Yes. So I just answered that question. How do you change the vendor? Answered that one. Does it not maintain a history? Why the need to print? So it does maintain a history. You'll see the order in here. I personally just like to kind of keep a hard copy of my order so I can compare it with what comes in on the invoice with the product. But you don't need to. You can certainly just come back in the computer and look at what you ordered. I personally just like to have a hard copy with all of my orders placed. How do we know current quantities to know what to order? We are going to go through that a little bit later. Can you push the email button so we can see what pops up in Zenoti? So I'm in the Stage site, so my email to vendor actually does not work because I'm not in a live version. Maybe we can, video that in a live version and add that to the YouTube video. This is going to be posted onto YouTube, so maybe we can do that and add it on at the end. Okay. If you don't have a delete order button showing, I would just put a message into your Zenoti help desk, and they should be able to direct you on where to go if you need to delete it. If we have a specific rep we want to send it to, okay, I'm getting a lot of the same questions. Sorry, guys. If you duplicated an order and accepted as a partial delivery, can you still delete the duplicate at that point? If so, will it take those items out of inventory? So that's getting a little advanced. So I'm going to save that question by Sarah Strauss. I'm going to save that for a little bit later once we get into receiving the order. What else do we have. Once placed, will we get confirmation and tracking info? Yes. So once you email it to the vendor, you should get a confirmation email with that tracking information. I'm getting a lot of ones saying that the SKUs are not working to manually scan. I'll make a note of that and let Zenoti know because you should just be able to scan that product. So if you guys are having trouble with it, I'll just go ahead and put a message into Zenoti, and then we'll see if we can get that fixed for everybody. Can an order be done on a mobile phone? Yep, you can call your order into your vendor. If you email it to a vendor, do they know who sends it? Also, which email is it sent? So yes, it should be sent through your personal Hand and Stone email. So it should either be the owner or the manager's email, whoever's logged into their email at the time of, whoever's logged into Zenoti, because you log in with your email. So whoever's logged in at that time will see the email that populates. Someone just said to me, they just tested in Zenoti, there's no email to vendor option after you raise the invoice. There should be an email to vendor option. If you're not seeing that, you can either ask your Zenoti help desk, or if you want to go ahead and put in the comments what location you are, I can go ahead and ask Zenoti if we can get that fixed for your location. Can we add shipping to invoices? Yes. So we normally add the shipping once we receive the orders. So that's going to come next. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to read through these so I don't repeat a bunch of questions. We do have a question. So the system does not show you the on-hand quantity while you're placing the order. So no, it does not show you the on-hand quantity while you are placing the order. There is a way to look at an alert. So it shows you what you need to order. So you'll be able to print that out or export it to Excel to be able to see what you need to order in the system. But it does not show you on the physical placing an order page. So someone's asking why we can't save the purchase order without raising. We don't have the option to save it without raising unless you're saving it as a draft. So if you're saving it as a draft, that means you can come back here and edit it, but saving and when you raise the order, that's how you receive the order. So it doesn't actually show up in your purchase order dropdown if you do not raise the order. Are we able to remove sales tax since we don't pay sales tax? So it shouldn't, if you don't pay sales tax, then your system shouldn't have the sales tax in it. So this is all how it's configured. It should come specific to your location, what your sales tax is. So if you're not paying any, there shouldn't be any listed. Or from the drop-down box here, there should be a blank box that you can select as well. That would give you no sales tax. Give me 1 second to go back to my question box. If the vendor is running a special, would we just mention the special in the notes, for example, Clarity BOGO deals? Yeah, so if they're running a special at the time of order, I would definitely put that in the notes for yourself. And then once we come in to receive that order, you'll go ahead and put that discount in at the time of receiving. Where do we add the vendor email that shows on the purchase order? Ours does not have an email included on the purchase order. So that should automatically show up in your system. It's something that normally comes delivered with it. So if not, I would just make a note to either send again to Zenoti help desk or send to your ops manager, and we can take a look at that to see how we get that email added to your system. But it should be there automatically once you select it. In the current system, when ordering, you see the quantity on hand. Why can't we see this in Zenoti? I don't have an answer for that. I just don't think that Zenoti is built for that yet. Or if it's something that they're looking to do, I'm not sure. All I know is that we would normally just run an alert report on what we're low on, and then that's how we would place our order. Sometimes Dermalogica sends a different item that is ordered. How do we delete the item not received and add the item received instead? So in Zenoti, you would just mark that you didn't receive that item, and then you would place a new purchase order for the item that they did send, and then go ahead and receive that item instead. This will take place of our current way of ordering by going to pre-saved vendor forms and filling in order amounts, emailing to vendor. Yeah, so this takes place of that. You'll just do it directly in the system. Is the Zenoti help desk the Zendesk? So no, Zendesk is Hand and Stone, so that's kind of our ticket system. The Zenoti help desk at the bottom right-hand corner, I'm not sure if you guys can see it on my page, there's a little question mark symbol. If you select that, it's going to bring you to a live Zenoti expert that they can help you. So there's two different options. One is if it's business staffing and you need immediate help, or if it's just something that you have a question on, they can help you and direct you on where to go if that's the case. So if anyone can see that little question mark on the bottom right-hand corner, that's your Zenoti help desk. The Zendesk is Hand and Stone IT ticket. Do I have to raise the order before I email it? Yes, we want to raise the order before you email it. Again, that's just saving the order in your system. Unless you're saving it as a draft, you wouldn't email it. But if you are complete with your order, you're ready for it to go, you would raise that order and then email it. Most of our vendors do not have an email showing on their vendor information on the purchase order. So Patrick, I'm going to go ahead and just write your information down. If anybody else is having that same issue, let us know, and we'll reach out to Linda and Zenoti as well to make sure that we have all of those emails in your purchase orders. If my email address for Zenoti is my personal one, should I change it to my manager email for this purpose? Yes, I would log in with your manager email because everything's going to fall back on that manager email. So I would definitely log in with that instead of your personal. What if the tax amount is different than what is being calculated when the items are received? We do get that question quite a bit, so that is something I'm going to ask Linda. Again, she's the one who adds all of the products into the system. So if we do have an issue with that, we're going to, keep everybody updated. Once this webinar is over, we're going to take a bunch of these questions and kind of update our manager's Facebook page. So stay tuned to that. So any questions that we can't answer, we will answer on that Facebook page, and that will actually be one of them. Is this process for all inventory massage warehouse, for example? Yes, so you can do this for all of your inventory that you will keep track of. Massage warehouse, Get Fresh, Dermalogica, Pure Invention. So this process is for all of that. How can you add items to inventory that came free with an order? Example, a vendor had a special and sent me a free full-size product. I want to add it to my inventory, but it was at no cost to me. How would I add that? So to do that, you're going to create a purchase order for that one specific product. And then once you receive it, you will discount it 100% because it was free. Again, we're going to go over how to receive it in a few moments once I get through all of these questions. If you save it as a draft, you can change. I can still print and send it to the vendor as PDF. Then when we don't get the back order, I can delete from purchase order, then raise and fully receive. There's no reason to raise. So Andrea, we'll have to double check with Cindy on that one. I'm just going to save that one for later. All massage warehouse items are loaded, including non-retail. So yeah, all massage warehouse items should be loaded, including non-retail. So any professional items should also be in there. Did you say use hand and stone support ticket or Zenoti help desk if emails and email to vendor option aren't available? So for that, if the email to vendors aren't available, I'm actually just going to make note of that. We'll have to double check everyone's system because I see a lot of people are having that issue. So don't put a ticket in for that if you're having that problem. I'm just going to go ahead and talk to Linda, who's in charge with the products, and we'll just check that in everybody's system. So we don't need to bombard the ticket system. We'll just go ahead and fix that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move on and then touch base to any other questions. Again, any questions that we didn't answer, didn't clarify on, we will be posting to the manager's Facebook page, so just go ahead and make sure that you pay attention to that. So once your order is saved in the system, we're going to go back to the inventory tab here. And this is where we come in to receive that order. So again, you're going to go to procurement, and then we have our orders here. And then we're going to select a report, and you can do list of orders, which is what I normally go by. Order type, I always keep it as all orders. Order status, you have the option as created, raised, updated, partially delivered, or delivered. So you can look at any of those orders. I'm going to keep it as all statuses for now, and I'm going to keep it at the 1 month mark because that's the least I can go, and I did create it today. So we have 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and you can also do a custom as well. I'm just going to go ahead and keep it at 1 month and hit refresh, and my 2 orders should show up from today's date. So I have my clarity one here, so I'm going to do 2 different receives. I'm going to do a partial receive, and then I'm going to do a full receive just to show you guys the difference. So your orders here, I have the location, I have the vendor, the status of that order, the quantity of products, the value, and again, the tax. So I'm going to go ahead and select the reference number here, which pulls up that order. So again, you have all the same options: delete the order, print the order, email to vendor, etc. Again, it's just re-pulling up that order. And if I look through here, I'm going to see everything that I placed. I have my retail quantity, I have my consumable quantity, and then I have my unit price for each here. And if I had a discount on an individual product, I would put that here. So let's say I got 15% off that product, I would do it on the one line. If we got it off the whole order, there's another option for that down below. So I'm going to leave that blank for now. We have your total price for everything, and again, your sales tax. Again, I'm in my Sage site, so my sales tax is different. It might be set. You guys might not have sales tax in your system, so whatever your location has will be set in your system. And again, I have my notes here as well. So if I scroll down to the bottom, again, I have the total quantity of what I ordered. I have my subtotal, and here I have the option to do a discount as well. So let's say I got a 15% discount off the whole order. I would put that here, and it would spread that discount through all of the products. Again, if I got it through one individual product, I would put it in the discount field next to that specific product. If it's off the whole order, it's down here. This is where I would also come to add in the shipping and handling that was on your invoice. And then I have my grand total. So again, I have my total value, which is what your invoice should look like to reflect the discount. plus my tax is my grand total. So this here is what should be matching your invoice. You have the option to fill this out if you want to. Address of delivery, you can leave blank. You can do date of shipment, date of delivery. If you want to fill those out, you don't have to. And again, you can add notes as well. You can save this if you're not finished with it. You can mark it as a partial delivery if you did not receive everything. If you did receive everything, you just select full delivery, or you can cancel. So for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and mark it as a full delivery, meaning that I got all of the products that I ordered. You'll then see here that my status changed to delivered. I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time, and I'm going to do a partial order. So again, selecting inventory, procurement, orders. I'm going to do my list of orders. Again, I'm keeping it 1 month because I ordered it today. And I'm going to go ahead and hit my next order number. So again, you'll see that this one is marked as delivered. This one is raised. I'm going to go ahead and hit on 79 to bring me back to that order. Now, if I did not receive everything, so for example, this one says here, I ordered 4. What did I receive? I'm going to go ahead and mark that I received 3 of those items. I didn't get all 4. If I didn't get any, I can go ahead and put 0. And then what I'll do is scroll down to the bottom and finish. So if I had a discount, I put that discount in. I'd add my shipping and handling. Again, you want to make sure that your grand total is what's matching your invoice. So your total value is what you paid for the product. If you are in a state that does charge tax, this will be your grand total here. And then because we did not receive everything, we will mark this as a partial delivery. And then it's going to let you know that some products have 0 quantities. Did you want to continue? So I'm going to go ahead and select OK. And then it marks it as partial delivered. You can also see the delivery history here, which shows you that it was a partial delivery. And it shows you how many delivered versus how many you wanted to order. So how many was not delivered. Let's go ahead and see what questions we have here. So what is stopping an employee from deleting the order once it's received and keeping all of the products? So once you can delete the inventory before it's received. I mean, that's a really good question. That would definitely just be a security thing to look out for at your location, because you are able to delete the invoice before it is saved in the system, before you mark everything as delivered. So I would just try to come up with a security thing for that. I don't really have an answer. Amy, do you have an answer for that question on what you would do at your location?
I would think that it would only be for a manager or an owner function. I don't think a sales associate.
Inventory is only manager and owner function. It's not spa associates. So it would be, we'd have to just keep track of your manager.
Yeah, that would be the best answer that I could say, because as far as setting a way up to track that in the system would be difficult.
Definitely. Okay. We do have a question. What is consumable quantity? So consumable is going to be your professional product. And then hypothetical, could I receive a partial delivery at one discount and then receive the rest of the order at a different discount? Sandy, that would actually be a good question that we're going to have to get the answer to. I'm not sure. Will we be covering removing professional products from inventory? Yes, we'll be going over that shortly. So what do you do when eventually you get the rest of the order? So depending on how soon it is, you can edit this order to make it a full delivery. You only have a certain amount of time to edit it. So if you can't edit your purchase order, you'll leave it as a partial delivery, and then you would go have a new purchase order with the new products and then just receive that one in full with what you did get. Prices don't print with the barcodes. Can this be changed? So that is going to be a Zenoti question, so I'm going to leave that up there. Does the sales tax charge us or the client? So some spas are charged sales tax on the product, so that should be there. And then it does charge the client as well for retail tax. What is the save option used for versus partial delivery or delivered? So saving is just saving it. You're not marking it delivered in your system. It's just saving that order until it becomes delivered. You wouldn't do any changes with it or anything. So you would just keep it in your system until you're ready to mark it as delivered. If that makes sense to everyone. Okay, so we went over how to create a purchase order, how to receive that order. So now I'm going to show you guys how to do your on-hand count so you are able to see what's in your spa. So you do have the option to do current stock. So if I go ahead and select that, again, you'll see retail here and you'll see consumables. So one is your retail product and then these are your professional. So if I go ahead and hit current stock here, I can go ahead and pull up my Clarity products because that's what I just created. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit refresh. And then this here will pull up each of your products and it should show you what you have in your store. So you can export this to an Excel file. You're able to print this out and do your actual on-hand count. So this tells you what you should have. And then you'll do your count. We'll come and update that into the system. So again, you would want to do this for both retail and professional. So I'll show you guys that one more time. So again, you're going to go to current stock. So this is retail, current stock. Choose my Clarity option or whatever vendor you're looking for. Select refresh. And then again, all of your products should show up and you can just go ahead and export that and print that out to be counted. You can also do it for your professional. So we have consumable here. So if I hit current stock, and again, I go to Clarity, I'm just going to keep using Clarity as an example. It will show me what I have professionally wise for the Clarity product. So again, you can export that and see what you actually have versus what your system says that you have. I'm just going to go ahead and take a look at the questions real quick. Give me 1 second. Why did I see 3 Clarity vendors listed? What's the difference? There is no difference. Again, I'm just in my Stage site, so I have a bunch of different ones that you won't see in your version. How many people are using store versus floor count? So all of Zenoti, everything is going to be quantity in store. Nothing is going to be quantity in floor. And you'll see that once we do your updated on-hand count, we always do quantity in store. We don't do anything with the floor. Do you recommend that we put purchase orders separately for retail and for pro or together? I personally like to do them separately just because I have major OCD and I like to have everything super organized. So that's going to be up to you if you want to do it together or separate. I personally recommend to do them separately. Let's see. In Millennium, we had several products that we did not sell. Well, we have to sort through those products in Zenoti. Well, it depends on your location. So all of the products will be listed. So if you're not selling a particular product, it will still be listed in your system because all of our products will be in there. So you will have to sort through all of those products. Will the floor be available to spots who would like to use this feature? I'm going to have to find out that answer for you. All I know is right now we don't do anything with the floor. It has to do with the way of that we track things, that we only do the store option. If we have multiple locations, is there an easy way to transfer items from one location to another? That would just be a matter of taking it out of inventory, which I will show you guys how to check out. And then you would just, at whatever location you're placing it at, you would go ahead and create your order for that item and then receive it. So that way it updates your on-hand count. But you just have to check it out of the location that you are taking it from. How do we redo and input all inventory on hand from what was brought over from Millennium as it's unaccurate? So I'm going to go over how to do your physical on-hand counts, which is what I would recommend doing if you need to redo all of your inventory. I would just go ahead and write down what you have of each product. And then once we go through how to do the on-hand count, you'll just do that process. The vendors invoice together. So if you're doing separately, it's difficult to balance separate POs to one invoice. That's the answer. There's not a way to inactivate products we don't use. Not in Zenoti. I mean, if you personally want to inactivate a product, you can put in a IT ticket for your location on what you want to inactivate, but you guys will not have access to inactivate that product. How do we get a product code pushed to Zenoti if it's missing? So for that, you can either just put in a ticket if it's missing, and then again, our corporate person, Linda, will go ahead and put that into your system. Okay. So now that we went over what should be in your system, I'm going to go through how to do a physical on-hand count. So again, by selecting inventory, you have the option under each one of them. So again, I have retail and consumable, and I have an option to audit. So then from there, I'm going to go ahead and select the vendor that I want to audit from. So again, I'm just going to choose my clarity option. And then this one here, you have the option to show all retail. You can do facial, retail, clarity, or others. I'm just going to keep it as all retail because we are in the retail section of Zenoti. And then we have the option for all vendors. Again, I'm just going to keep that here. You can choose clarity if you wanted to, but there's no need to if you already have that in the first section here. So I normally just do the first drop down and leave everything else alone. And then you have all of, once you hit search, I have my clarity products that show up here. So what you would do is you're going to take that last sheet that you just exported, you would do your physical count in store, compare it to that sheet, and then you would come in here and update what you actually have. So again, I'm going to go through each product and put what I actually have in the system. And I'm just going to do this for a couple products. I'm not going to finish the rest of them. Actually, I can do it real quick. Let's see. And I'm on page 2. So again, I'm just going to go through this and add all of the products compared to what shows me on my sheet. So once that's done, I can go ahead and hit Save Changes. It'll tell you everything was saved. And then I'm going to submit my audit, which means I am submitting it. This is the numbers that I want to put in the system. This is what I have and calculated in my SPA. and it's going to say, are you sure you want to submit? I'm going to go ahead and select OK. So there are some orders which are not delivered, so some were left at 0, so click the OK or cancel. So I'm just going to go ahead and select OK for now. It tells you number of products audited, so 17, number of products not audited, so because it only did a few of them, that's showing here. Number of products altogether. And then I have my auditing option. So I can use projected stock values for unaudited products, which would be a negative stock, would be considered as no stock, which is the one that we would use the most. Or you can use projected stock values for unaudited products, which means negative stock would be maintained. So that way, if you're marking it as 0, that means that that product is maintained in the system. Or use 0 stock values for unaudited products. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the first one, meaning that a negative would mean that there's none there. Once that's been submitted, you can go ahead and reconcile that. So if I now go to reconcile here under my retail option, it's going to show you what you're negative or what you're over. Let me just choose clarity, for example. I'm going to leave it as all because that's what I did before. Again, all vendors, you can change that if you wanted to. I'm just going to leave it alone. Keep that as all. And then unaccounted after audit, I'm going to keep that as all as well. So go ahead and select search. And then here it tells you what you're over, you're under. So your current says 3, which is what we calculated, but we should have had 5. I'm sorry, we should have had 3, but we counted 5. We're over 2 products. So this tells you what you're over. If you're under a product, it will be highlighted in red, which none of these are, but I'll do that with the professional product. So you'll be able to see it'll be in red. Here we have a red one. So this one says that we currently, we should have had 16 products and we counted only 4. So we're negative 12 of those products. So this goes and shows you what you are over and under. Once you're done, you can just go ahead and hit reconcile now, which will save this reconcile. So it will save that you're over or under. Let's see what questions we have. Okay. Is there a way to print all available items versus handwriting what we do currently have? In Millennium, our account would still list all available products. When I run current stock for Durham, it doesn't list all products. I'm going to have to get back to you on that one, Katie. Somebody said, what about missing price? I'm not sure what that means. If you can elaborate that a little bit more. I was trying to receive an order from Pure Inventions because we ordered 12. We received 1 free. But when I put retail received as 13, it wouldn't let me do that. So for that, I would normally just create a purchase order for that 1 product and then receive that 1 product and discount it at 100%, because it won't let you do more than what you ordered. You have to enter a count if it is the same as what we counted, or only those items where the count is different. So again, you have that pop-up box that shows up that says anything that is blank you can keep as maintained. So if it's the same amount, you can leave that blank and just choose that pop-up box. That a blank box means that it's a maintained count, meaning that there's no changes. For Dermalogic products, do we have to run a separate audit for each line? I'm not sure what you mean for each line. You'll want to do an audit for each product. So, oh, not for each line in Dermalogica, no. So you can just do that for all lines, the gray line, the Medivac line, etc. That can all be done on one audit. Can we use a tablet and do the count live? Yes, you can use the tablet and still do the inventory count there. What's the best way if you were using a scanner for this process? To use a scanner to do your invoice, you would only do that if you're creating the purchase order. You would use your scanner. You wouldn't do that to receive it or to do your audit. How can we see who has audited the product in past audits? There is a report that will show you that I will pull up in a few minutes. Is there a way to delete the audit if I accidentally put the wrong audit number in and need to edit? So there's not a way to delete the audit. That's why we normally would hit the save changes and submit audit. So before you submit the audit, you would just want to make sure that everything is accurate before you submit it, because there is no way to delete that audit. Does reconciling reset the product counts to the actual count, or do the over-under amounts continue to carry? So the reconciling will reset your actual count once you submit that reconcile. So then your current stock should reflect whatever you just reconciled. When bringing out retail, product price says 0. Can I change this or a support ticket? So I don't believe you have access to change the product price. Just make sure you're bringing out the right product, because if you're choosing tester or professional, it will bring up as $0. You want to make sure that you are bringing out the actual retail product. If it does say $0, I would put in a support ticket to get that price input. You can't use the scanner for the audit. So for the audit, no, you can't use the scanner because all of the products auto-populate. There's nowhere to scan that product. It's just, you'll have to go in and just type in what you have. All the products are already listed. Would we put testers into inventory? I would put testers into inventory just to keep track of that. Also, you're going to have an invoice with your testers, so you want to make sure everything adds up. So I would definitely put them in there as well. Can you show how to pull an audit for all Dermalogic products? They seem to be entered by individual line. We'll go ahead and do that now. So if I just go ahead and do audit, basically what I would do is just go ahead and go here and just select Dermalogica. I see it in my system. And search. It's not going to show up for me because I'm in retail. They should all show up. So otherwise, it's not. I'm going to have to come back into that, guys, because I'm not sure why that's not letting me do that now. But it should, if you're just choosing, instead of choosing like HSmart and everything from there, you should just be able to choose the Dermalogica option, and all of the products should be listed. So I will get back to you guys on that Dermalogica issue. Let's see what else we have. How do we change the alert levels on a product? So I'll go over that in just a minute. I can't see any items in our inventory that was brought over from Millennium. So that would be, if you can't see any items that were brought over from Millennium, I would put in a support ticket from that. I'm not too sure why they wouldn't show up. Another question. Will the derm product sort by category? So the first drop down is category. You should just be able to choose Dermalogica though, and all products should show up. So you shouldn't just have to choose the category and then do the vendor. It should just let you choose Dermalogica and then everything should show up. So I'm gonna have to just double check that. Okay. So now that we went through an audit, we went through a reconcile, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to check out a professional product. So we would go under consumables and we have a checkout option here. And then you would just go ahead and put whatever product you're checking out. So for this, I'll just do Cleanse Daily. Says checkout for consumption, which is use. If you needed to check it for any other reason, so let's say it's like a damaged product or you just need to take it out of inventory, you can hit no if it's not being used. So I'm going to go ahead and select yes. How many you are taking out of inventory. So I'm just going to go ahead and put 1, and then you'll assign it to the employee. And then comments, I would normally put what room I'm putting it into. So something that we like to do is, personally, we like to keep your estheticians all in the same room. We don't really like to rotate them like we do our massage therapists. Again, that's going to be up to you. I personally like to keep each esthetician in the same room so I can make them accountable for each product. And then on the products, I label what room I'm putting them into with either a Sharpie or like a nail polish paint pen. So that way I can keep track. If, you know, room 2 is empty, they don't go and switch it with room 3. So I would go ahead and just put what room I'm putting it into and select finish. That then takes it out of your inventory for use, and you'll be able to do a history. So if I take a look and I look at checkout for consumption, I have my date. So if I want to look at everything I checked out this month, I can choose that and hit refresh. It's going to give me a list of all of the products this month that I took out of inventory. So this one would be this professional. I gave it to this employee and I assigned it to that room. Let's see what else, what other questions we have. I was trying to export the inventory list yesterday. Can you tell me how to get it all on one page? And is there a way to change the font? It was so small. Danielle, I'll have to double check that with you. If you want to send me an email, again, my email is msakowitz, my last name, @handandstone.com. I can log into your system with you and try to help you out with that. Let's see. I have my LA room set up as employees for this purpose. I could track by room where the product went. So if you have your esthetician room set up as employees, that's fine. You can track it that way, or you can track it to the employee. That's completely up to you. So when you check out, it means it is no longer inventory. Yeah. So when you are checking out, that means you're taking it out of your inventory. It will deduct 1 from your count. So it's best to check out when it's empty. So normally what we'll do is we'll check it out when it is empty. So what's happening is they're giving us the empty bottle and we're putting a new one in that room. Can you uncheck out a retail item? I believe you can just edit it. put that here. You can just clear it from here and it should be able to just delete it. Go ahead and test that out. There you go, so that worked. I go ahead and hit finish. Let's go to my history and I'm just gonna double check. All right, that did not work. So we'll have to double check that for you as well because you should just be able to edit it here and clear that out. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back to inventory and I wanna show you guys your alerts as well. So we do have a report for all of your inventory. You can take a look at your audit history if you wanted to. So again, this is gonna show you, let me go ahead and just select my report. So I have lists of audits, time period. I'm just gonna do 1 month because I did it today. Product type. Let's just go ahead and do retail because I did retail today. Hit refresh. So I have when it was reconciled and I have all of the values. So you'll be able to take a look at your audit history for the month. I'm going to go back to that real quick so I can show you the rest of the drop down. I'm going to skip over these. You can look at your consumption, so what was used, so what we checked out. You can look at your retail sales here, your order history, any product returns. I'm going to skip over taxes and value. And then we do have the alert option here. So if I click on the alert, I'm going to go ahead and do retail products. And let's say I want to look at clarity. I'm going to keep this one as all, and you can look at below any level, below alert levels, or below order levels. Again, I'll show you guys where to change your alert levels in the system. So I'm going to go ahead and do below alert levels and select refresh. And I have nothing below alert levels. Let me just do all products. Just because I'm in my stage site. So here we go. So I just did all products, what's below. So it tells me here anything that's under. So you'll see what's in store. So our desired level is 3. We have our retail alert level at 1. So once we get to 1 product, it's going to show up in here and it will tell you what you currently have as well. So we would want to order that product. Someone asked how to process a return. So that's actually done in the appointment book of Zenoti. We do have a YouTube video on that. If you want to watch the retail YouTube video, that will be shown in there as well. Do we have any other questions, or is there anything you guys want me to go over one more time? Are we able to audit with all products instead of categorizing by product line? So you shouldn't be able to do it for all products. You will have to do it by each line for the audit. Somebody wants to know about the YouTube videos. We do have a YouTube channel called HS Train. It's all one word. So this webinar will be on there. All of our recorded webinars are on there. And then we have a bunch of Zenoti how-to videos that are listed on there as well. I am going to show you guys how to change the alert quantity, so bear with me on that. I will go over the alert again. The YouTube is H as in Harry, S as in Sam, Train, HS Train. When and where will we see this video? Again, this is going to be posted today on the YouTube page. You'll be able to go see this webinar again, and you'll be able to see all of our other Zenoti how-to videos. I thought there was an option to audit inventory from the iPad. Scanning the product on the iPad, is that not an option? So that is an option. It does work on the iPad, but if you're doing the audit through your desktop, you won't be scanning. Sorry, I'm trying to go over all of our questions. Do below inventory alerts get pushed to an email, or do you have to go into the alert report? So you do have to go to the alert report, and then you would be able to just export it from there. So again, if I go to alert, I'm just going to choose all products again, below alert level, select refresh. You'll have the option here to export this to an Excel document that you can keep track of, but it will not get sent to an email. Can we go over the iPad scanner option for audit? I actually would not be able to show that because I don't have an iPad on me to be able to bring that up to show you guys. So that's something that we would either have to go through with you on site, or maybe your ops manager can go through the iPad with you for that option.
Michelle, would you mind bringing up the YouTube channel so they can see where to view it?
Yep.
Under the service provider you would like to book, select the time you would like to.
So if I go ahead and just type in HS Train, it's going to be this option here with the purple icon. So if I select that, you'll see an option for videos. And then you're going to see all of our webinars on here. And then if you keep scrolling through, you'll see all of our Zenoti how-tos. Let's see. I don't have the option for alert as a manager. It's just the only an option for an owner. So you can get it for a manager. If you don't have it, then just I would submit a Zenoti help desk, and they should be able to give your login the option for the alert. Are the YouTube videos the same? I just lost my spot. Are the YouTube videos the same as the ones on LMS? Yeah, so they are the same ones that are on the LMS that are listed here as well. What is the best report to see how many products have sold in past time period when preparing a purchase order? Millennium, we would use MR210. So there you do have the option in Zenoti. Let me just go back to inventory. So if you're trying to find your products that were sold, you can just go ahead and choose your retail sale here. Time period, you can look for that current month. I'm probably not going to have anything again because I'm in my stage site. So if I go ahead and hit refresh, so I did 2 months, it will tell me what you sold of each product and by who. So it tells you here what you sold. So that way you can find out what your most popular product would be. Okay, so let's go over how to change your alert orders. So this is all done in your admin page. So if I go ahead and select admin, you're going to see a resource option here. And you can select your product. I'm not sure if this is going to let me do this in the stage site, so I'm going to try it out. But if I just go ahead and select my product here, it's not going to let me do it here, but you should have an option to put in your alert quantity here. So we will make a YouTube video. I'll make a YouTube video on how to change your alert quantity. So just stay tuned to that. We'll post it to the manager's page as well. Again, I'm in the stage site, so there's a lot of things that I'm not able to do that are available in the live site. But we'll go ahead and just post a video about that in the manager's page. Oh, yep, you're right. So here it is, price tab. We have here the order, so your desired amount that you want in your alert order. So you're right. So it is in the price tab. So again, we go to product. Sorry about that, guys. Lost my spot. Cleanse daily is what I'm going to type in. We'll select price. And then here you have it here. So your desired amount you want in spa and what you want it to be alerted to. So that will show up on that report. And then you would hit save. So you would have to go into each product and set what you would like to do if you want to change it from what we have in your system. There is no faster way to change the alerts. You would have to do it for each individual product. Does anybody else have any more questions? Will corporate push new products out? Yeah, so every time a product is pushed out, we will go ahead and push that into your system. How do we process a return? So a return of a product is done on the appointment book in the client history. So again, we do have a YouTube video on that I would just suggest watching. We can post that to the manager's page as well, how to do that refund. But that's all done in the appointment book. If you're doing a return for like a professional product, you would just check that product out, just like we did before. So let's say it was damaged and you want to return it. You're checking that product out here. That's the retail checkout. Sorry, let me go back to consumable. You would put in the product name. You're not checking it out for consumption, so you would change that to no, and you can hit damage here if it was a damaged product, and you can send that back to your vendor. If we set up the alert and the quantity goes to the alert, how does it alert us? So it's just honestly going to alert you by running that alert report. You're not going to get an email for it. You do have to run that report once you want to run inventory. So I would suggest checking it maybe on a weekly basis once you do your inventory on hand counts each week. And again, the vendor return is the same thing here. So you're just checking that product out. You're not using it for consumption. And in the comments, you're going to put why you're returning it back to the vendor. Do we have any more questions? I don't see any more questions coming in yet. Again, if you guys want to re-review the inventory, This webinar is going to be posted on the HS Train YouTube channel here. So you will see that posted today. We also do have the individual YouTube videos for Zenoti as well that you can take a look at and review. And then any questions that we did not get to or anything that we needed to elaborate a little bit more on, we will keep posted on the managers page. So make sure that you guys are signed up for Hand and Stone Managers and pay close attention to that page, because anything that we didn't get to, we're going to post on there. We have a list of all of our questions that were asked today. So we will answer all of those questions and keep them on the Facebook page. So if nobody has any questions, then we are all set for the day. Again, you can double check this on the YouTube channel. And then if you do have any questions about inventory, you can feel free to shoot me an email. Again, my email is msackowitz, my last name, SACKOWITZ @handandstone.com. So if you have any other questions about inventory, feel free to shoot me an email. If you have any suggestions that you want to make for the next webinar, please go ahead and let us know so we know what questions or kind of, you know, what you guys want to review for the next webinar next month. But other than that, we are pretty much all set for the day. Somebody wants to know if they can have Linda's email. So we'll put that in the Facebook page as well with our update. So you guys will see that. And then other than that, I hope everybody has a good rest of their day. Bye, everyone.